Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today we have another good old-fashioned unsponsored activewear review. It's what I do most here on this channel. Today we're reviewing Senita Athletics. I have been getting requests to film this brand since I first started my channel. Here's Pinto, first appearance of the video. Okay. I've been getting requests to review Senita since I first started this channel. They've been around for a while, and honestly, I don't know why it's taken me so long. Sometimes I just get too overwhelmed with requests and then things slip my mind. But we're finally doing it. Senita is a small woman-owned business started by two sisters in Arizona. And another thing that's super fun about them is everything is so affordable. I literally looked back at my orders and not a single thing I purchased was over $30. That is very impressive. I will say I didn't get any leggings. I think their leggings are in the low $30 range. I did get shorts. They also shipped super fast. I think I ordered this on a Saturday and it arrived the next Tuesday. So that was a super fast turnaround. I will say I am very close to Arizona, but still. And they're definitely a very female focused brand. They have a maternity and nursing line as well. A lot of great variety. I think they have swimwear too. And I think they recently had a new launch and I was just really drawn to these fun colors, this bright orange. Absolutely. Clearly I'm in a neon mood. This outfit I'm wearing does not go at all, but it's bright and it's fun. That's what we love. If you like super honest activewear reviews, make sure to subscribe and like this video. And without further ado, let's start getting into the pieces. Okay, so let's start off with the colorful stuff first. These are the trio shorts. I got a size small and these are $28, which is pretty good for shorts. I just thought these were so fun. They have these three little color lining on the side. They actually don't have a band at the top. I guess it's kind of some places they have a band, some places they don't, but I just thought this looked really fun. A lot of their stuff still does have a front seam, which I don't know, I'm kind of moving away from the whole front seam. So whenever I see something with a front seam, I'm never super pumped about it, but I did really like this design. The orange part actually has little pockets on the side, which is really nice. And these are definitely kind of a biker length. This looks like maybe a 6-inch inseam or something. So let's try them on. Okay, so here these are. These kind of give me circus candy shop vibes. And I just love these colors together. And I think it's super cute and unique. Here are the pockets. So they do just start at the top of the waistband here, and it has a little mesh lining, but I'm a little concerned about the size. Let's see. So it does fit a phone, but it's a little bit uncomfortable so high at my hip that it's on my hip bone. Just beware of that if you are someone who really likes to use pockets. I think it's great that they at least have the pocket option, and it's very hidden. You wouldn't know these have pockets. These are super compressive. These are definitely a high compression, but not in a restricting way. I still have a good amount of stretch in them, and I like the length. They're probably also about a 7 to 8-inch inseam. A lot of tummy control too, and the waistband goes down decently far. They're kind of squishing my thighs. Personally, I feel okay in the size small, but if you really don't like too much compression, I would definitely size up. And if you're in between, I would also size up. I feel this kind of gives a little bit of an elongated leg look. I really like this. Although every time the fabric comes together, it does have a little peak here and there, which I don't think is bad. It just you can kind of tell in some places. It does have a front seam causing very minor problems, but I've seen worse. This isn't bothering me too much. And here's the back. These are just gonna get a medium on the booty scale. This seam does go above my glutes though, which is excellent. So you're not gonna get any seams on Senita stuff that go straight over your butt, which is always something I look out for. So I like that. It's just gonna be a medium because they are flat across and I'm getting a lot of compression and probably a little bit of squishing. So no enhancing of the glutes, but definitely not squishing them down. And these are also probably pretty cellulite friendly too, because they're super compressive and the fabric is pretty thick. Got this nice performance material. This is definitely a high impact short. They also feel pretty sweat friendly. So yeah, these are actually really nice, and it's hard to find cute creative shorts like this under $30. Yeah, I definitely recommend these if you're good with the front seam. I really don't think this front seam is too awful. I also got the Harmony crop bra. This is $28, also a size small. Pins, you need to come in? You're lonely out there. What are you doing? What are you doing? You wanna go up here? All right, we have a little guest. So I saw they had a couple tanks on their website, but they were all just kind of regular tanks, no built-in bra or anything, which actually, I used to not like when tanks had built-in bras, but for some reason today I was going for sports bras. So this is made of a very slightly brushed material, and it's kind of a little long line tank. It does have a full bra lining with cup pads on the inside. Their cup pads feel pretty firm. These are pretty thick cup pads. Could be good to add some shape. They also seem a pretty good size that might cover most of the girls, because I hate when cup pads are so small that you can just see the outline. And I thought the back had a fun little strappy detail. Here's the fabric close up. It's not super fuzzy, but it definitely is a little bit brushed and soft. All right, so here's this little crop. Super soft material, like especially now that it's on, I can tell that it's like really nice and soft. The inside elastic is fitting very snug, like along my rib cage, so it's a good fit there. I just feel like I have a little bit of extra space / gaping, and a sports bra is not usually something I encounter, especially since this band is very snug. So in general, I'd say their sports bras are actually pretty large cup size friendly. Like there's a good amount of space. This does go all the way to my armpits where the awkward looseness is happening, so I'm not really understanding. And it has a little scoop. I'm not gonna like fall out of it. This one's kind of like light to medium support just because I almost feel like I could do an extra small in this top. This top I would say size down if in between, or honestly I could probably just size down like right off the bat. So yeah, and also because it's a little bit loose and the cup pads are so like structured and firm, I just feel like it's like a weird contrast for me. And like you might be able to see them, but I'm not really sure. And then here's the back. So it's got like a nice little strappy back, pretty open. I'd say this one's nice overall. It's just like not fitting me perfectly. So I'm not absolutely in love with the top just because of that. And I think this is also cute just to have like more of like a shirt with a built-in bra, not necessarily like a full-on sports bra, especially if you don't like to show like too much skin. It's got like a pretty good amount of like coverage down here. So yeah, here's the inside. It does have like built-in cups. Full-on bra just has this little fabric over the outside. Next, I got the Sedona shorts 2, so it must be another version or something. These were $26. I did get them in a medium. Sometimes with the flowy shorts, I like a little bit of extra space, and I just didn't want them to be too small. This does look like a little bit wide for me though. Although I think they are more of like a mid-rise than a high-rise. They might be okay. No drawstring or anything on these. I have really been into this kind of short recently. Really this summer was when I got into these kind of shorts. I'm wearing some from 413 right now, and this color is just so beautiful and bright. They do have little side pockets, which is nice. And it is kind of like the regular underwear lining, which isn't my favorite because usually it's just kind of like a built-in underwear line, which I personally do try to avoid, but you know, we're not knocking it yet. Let's try it. Okay, I don't know why I do this. Sometimes I'm like, oh, you know, I'll size up to a medium for fun, thinking that it's gonna work for me. And it's clearly quite baggy in the waist. So don't size up in the shorts. There's no need. Now, it's gonna be hard for me to see like how these truly fit, but let me just like kind of take in the waist back here. I actually think these have a good amount of rise where they could be like mid to high rise. So not like the highest waist shorts I've ever seen, but pretty good. Definitely would go something that fits your waist size because there's no elastic drawstring. So it's not like you can size up and just like tighten the waist. You really need it to fit like right off the bat. It does have little pockets. Let's see if it would fit a phone. Yeah, a phone does fit, but obviously since these are too big, it's gonna weigh it down a little bit. It is kind of like one of those windbreakery materials, but it's not super noisy. I wouldn't wear super dark underwear with these though, just because this light color, you can kind of see like the pocket through. It's not gonna be the most opaque, but it does have the underwear lining, which honestly, because it's so sheer, you can kind of see the underwear lining through. I don't love, I kind of would have preferred if it was like a shorts lining. I don't know, let me know in the comments down below. Is this weird or what? But yeah, here's like the underwear lining. It's really like a brief underwear lining, and actually pretty good inseam as well. Sometimes it's hard to find shorts like this that go down a good length, but I feel like these are actually decently long. So I think these would be better in my correct size just because they have that underwear lining, and it's not like my absolute top choice. I don't think these are like my favorite of the loose shorts. Next, we have another sports bra. This is the Strappy sports bra in the color Marsala. This is also $26, and it's just kind of a basic sports bra in the front with a little mesh lining with some cup pads. There is a built-in elastic along the bottom, but it's one of those sports bras where the elastic's like kind of hidden. It's not like a separate clear elastic there. And I liked that the straps were like two-toned in the back. They split into 3 straps that kind of intertwine. Okay, so here's the sports bra, and first thing I'm noticing is it has great coverage. Like, I mean, I might have a little side boob over here, but I think that's mostly due to how I'm wearing it, not the actual bra, because on the other side, no side boob, so really good coverage. It's a scoop neck, but there's no way I'm falling out of this. Also decent support. I'd say a solid medium support. Like, this is pretty good. I feel nice and secure with this bottom band. It's true to size, but still large cup size friendly. Like, I can wear a small and I'm not like being squished out of it. The cup pads are very firm, and I hope they're not really noticeable on camera. I mean, sometimes firm cup pads help with support. Other times I feel like they're just like a little too hard. So these are definitely thick cup pads. The straps do go over your traps a little bit, but they're nice and thick and definitely not cutting into me, so this would be a pretty comfortable bra. And the back is pretty cute as well. So this is actually a really solid sports bra, very reasonably priced. Still very good coverage for my girls with larger cup sizes. The material on this one is kind of a performance material. It's not super sleek, but it's not brushed or anything. Probably would show a little bit of sweat, but I wouldn't be like too concerned. Next, I got the Luxe high-waisted Rio shorts in the color Evergreen. These are a 7-inch inseam, so I would say that these are a biker length. These are $25, which, guys, $25 for a pair of shorts like this, a pair of biker shorts, is like an incredible price. These already are kind of reminding me of the colorful koala shorts. As soon as I took these out of the bag, like I could see that they were performance material, that they were kind of shiny, but this fabric is oddly like ridiculously soft for a performance material. I'm like really impressed with this fabric. Like the other fabrics were nice, but like this one is definitely like a step above, and it's the cheapest item. Here's a close-up of the fabric. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's got little side pockets, a nice biker length, front seam if you still like that, and it has no band on the top. So I opened these last because I was kind of like the least excited about them, mostly because the other colors were so fun, just drew my eye to them, but I think these might be my favorite. Let's try them on. Okay, these are like really solid bike shorts. First of all, I didn't have to pull them up too much or anything, and they're still a high rise. They're going right to my belly button, maybe a little bit above. This material is super soft, but also really nice for like a summer short because it is a sleek performance material. I do feel like it's going to be sweat wicking, and it does have a front seam, and I don't have a mirror in here right now, but I really wouldn't say that it's too invasive for me, so not causing any problems. The 7-inch inseam is going to be really nice because it goes over like the bulk of your thighs, so you're not going to have any like chance of like thigh chafing when walking, but it's also just definitely not going to roll up. Like these are staying put for sure. I love the shape of the pocket. It's got this like tapered shape, which I think is a really nice way to do a pocket. Can fit your full phone. And here's the back. I wouldn't say they're doing anything like crazy for the glutes, but the seam does go above my glutes without me having to adjust it. I'm going to give them a medium on the booty scale. Could be a little more flattering, but I still think it's pretty good. And they have like some thickness, so I'd probably say cellulite friendly, not cellulite proof. And they're definitely compressive along the bottom of my thighs, but I wouldn't really call it cutting in. Like I don't feel like it's gonna leave a mark or anything, and maybe about like a medium compression overall. But if you're looking for a solid pair of bike shorts, these were $25. I think they're actually better than my colorful koala ones, which is saying a lot because these are pretty similar. I actually kind of like this fabric more, and I just like there's a little extra length. While I don't love a front seam, these ones are definitely not causing me too many problems where I consider it a deal breaker. So I also got a size small on these, my normal legging size. I didn't even look at their size chart to be quite honest, and totally fits. So if you're in between, I might size up just for this bottom band, but in general, regular size, totally fine. All right guys, that's it for the video. There are definitely some hits and misses, but I think overall I can definitely tell that the quality is there, and I'm obsessed with these bike shorts. I don't think I'm gonna keep these green ones, but I think I'm actually gonna buy myself a pair of the black ones because I was just thinking recently, like everyone needs a solid pair of black biker shorts. I currently don't have one that I like really love because I always buy colored activewear, but sometimes for lifestyle, you just want a pair of solid black bikers, and I think these are gonna be the ones for me. And I love the coverage of their sports bras. You can just tell the stuff was like designed by women. That's what I love about women-owned companies. Speaking of women, here's my girl Peach. How you doing, Peach? Hey. No touching my face, okay? My only thing is I'd love to see them come out with no front seam stuff at some point, although the bikers, for some reason, I'm still accepting them with the front seam. I think it's okay. If you have any other suggestions for brands I should review soon, let me know in the comments down below, and give this video a thumbs up if you made it this far. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!